Hi guys, today is June 29th, 2020, and futures are pointing to a higher open despite the rising cases of the virus across several states, especially in the Midwest and South. But people are very optimistic about opening the economy, and futures are pointing higher. So, actually, this weekend I talked to a relative of mine who works at the hospital, and she's a nurse, and she said that back in March of 2020, they had over 700 patients at the hospital, and now they only have 11 patients with COVID. So it's a much less number. She said that they now know how to handle those patients, and there are a lot more tools available. So people are very optimistic and not as scared to this virus as they were before, and they're getting used to this. So futures are higher. People are very optimistic about reopening the economy, and let's jump to SPY ETF for S&P 500. SPY still have this drawing of the support lines, and as long as we stay above those support lines, I think we will be fine. And obviously, we're opening higher today, and we'll see what happens. So let's jump to corporate news, and first symbol I want to talk about is ZoomInfo. ZoomInfo Technologies is a software company that sells access to its database of information about business people and companies to sales, marketing, recruiting professionals. It went public in the beginning of June at $21 per share, and obviously it's trading right now at $51, $52 per share. So like 20 plus analysts initiated coverage today on this company. So ZoomInfo, don't confuse it with Zoom. It's another company, and so the price range those analysts are putting on this stock is $50 to $64. In general, I think it's trading a little bit too high to me, but like closer to $50, a little bit less, maybe under $50 is a really good buy for ZoomInfo. Stock symbol ZI. Okay, so let's move to the next company, Nike. Okay, so Nike reported earnings on Friday, and they said that they lost 51 cents versus 7 cents profit they actually expected, and revenue was well below expectations. They said that they got hurt by lockdown, and obviously with no sports, Nike cannot advertise as they used to advertise, and so Nike, I think, has some more downside in my opinion, but it's a very strong support line around like 200-day moving average line. So closer to $90, I would say 90, maybe even below $90 would be an interesting buy for me of Nike. Okay, NKE. Okay, so let's jump to banks. Okay, so banks had some news because they were under pressure, especially on Friday, as Fed conducted these banks conduct stress tests twice a year, and they report to Fed after this. And some of these tests revealed that given certain circumstances, these banks would be very close to Fed's minimum liquidity requirements. So Fed put a lot of pressure on these banks recently by announcing that they're restricting the buybacks, actually not allowing buybacks, and putting cap on dividends. So buybacks is the old news, and actually these banks were not doing buybacks, but restricting dividends or capping dividends is bad news for these banks, because a lot of money managers and equity managers actually are not going to stay in these stocks, because the only reasons many of them stayed because of the dividends, especially for example like Wells Fargo was paying like close to 5 to 9% dividend, and other banks were paying pretty good dividend, like 4%, 5%, 3%. So these money managers will be exiting these companies, banks, and these stocks will remain in a penalty box for a while. So I don't expect a lot of upside from these companies. But in general, even if the dividend is cut, I mean, for example, even Wells Fargo, if they cut like dividend 8% to 4% or 9% to 4.5%, it's still paying like 4% or 3.5%. We'll see what happens. So I own some of these banks, and I'm still holding them. I don't expect to sell them anytime soon, but I think I don't expect the upside in them until later in the year. Okay, so next company is Albertsons Companies. Okay, Albertsons went public on Friday, and it's a restaurant chain, and they were valued very high. IPO was valued very high at like 9.3 billion, and at $16 per share, and obviously it's trading lower than that. And in my opinion, I mean, I'm not very optimistic about the shares of this company, and I would stay away for now. ACI. Okay, Amazon. So Amazon reported that they will pay more than $1 billion to buy self-driving startup Zoox. And on a separate note, Deutsche Bank and some trust analysts raising their price target for Amazon to $3,333 and $3,400 respectively. So, I mean, Amazon, what can you say? It's going higher. I mean, the fact that the stock is trading around $2,700, I mean, I have no doubt that Amazon will be trading at $3,000 eventually. So, it's a long-term investment. It's a very expensive stock though, but it's a very long. If you want a very long-term investment, Amazon is the one. Okay, DKNG. DraftKings. So DraftKings was initiated by Rosenblatt Securities, and it's been under pressure lately because of these cases, resurfacing cases of the virus across the country, and rising cases. So I think it has a little bit more downside, but closer to $30. I think the DKNG is a pretty good buy in my opinion. Okay, Big Lots. Big Lots is a discount retailer that said that it sees continuation of strong demand that started in April, and expects comparable sales in second quarter to be up in mid to high 20s digits, and gave a big boost to projected earnings in second quarter. So in general, I like this company, BIG, BIG. And I think, I mean, it's trading a little bit high. RSI is a little bit overbought, but in general, I think this company may go actually higher. And I see big potential with this company. Big. So HOG. HOG is Harley Davidson, and Harley Davidson said that they are eliminating 140 US jobs amid cuts in production volume. I think actually it came down at the point, Harley Davidson, that I might be interested to buy this company, or to buy this stock actually, to $22, $22.73. I think in this range, low 20s is a pretty good buy, but a long-term buy for HOG, Harley Davidson. Okay, so FB. Facebook and Twitter, two social media companies that are under pressure lately, and because of the number of companies joining boycott, as you probably know, against these social media companies, accusing them to not doing enough to remove hate speech on its platform. And I think that FB and Twitter has a lot more downside to go. I mean, I don't know if what you consider a lot, but I think they have more downside, in my opinion. Like, I think Facebook can go under $200, and Twitter may go to like 25, 26 area before it's settled. Okay, so I'll stay away for now. Ford Motor. Okay, so they unveiled the first redesign of its popular F-150 truck. And I mean, in general, I mean, I'm not a big Ford believer, to tell the truth, but I think stock is trading. I mean, it's trading under $6, and it's not a bad buy, long-term buy, in my opinion. But I would rather be in Tesla, for example. So Tesla is opening higher, and it was reported that the spotted testing prototype was the new array of sensors, and I still have this drawing of Tesla double bottom, and the fact that it may go higher after that, and I think it still holds, and I think that Tesla will still trade a little bit, will still trade higher. Okay, another electric vehicle company, Nikola. Okay, staying with the same theme. Nikolas is today will begin taking pre-orders for its Badger truck at 11 a.m. So that's going to be very interesting, but technically it doesn't look good in those shoes because see this Magda crossed here, and this is pointing down, and so I think Nikola may come down after the initial surge. It's opening higher pre-market, but we'll see what happens. But in general, I've seen people very much for Nikola and very much against Nikola. So I don't see any middle ground between these two camps. So, but we'll see what happens, how what they report on the pre-orders for its Badger trucks. Okay, so and another company is SHLL. Tortoise is opening a lot higher, and I recommended this company on my Patreon channel a couple of days ago, and I bought it at $17. And those who followed, congratulations, you're making a ton of money. And by the way, if you want to see what I'm trading, and a link to this channel, Patreon channel, is in the description of this video. SHLL opening very high, and I wouldn't jump in at the open until let it come down a little bit before I jump in, because it's opening very high and you may buy it a little bit lower. Okay, that's it guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the like button, and I'll see you Thursday.